Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today, women go crazy for a sharp-dressed man, so we visit Private Stash. And my family joins me to prepare Vassar eggs. But first, it is back and better than ever, the Ward Beecher Planetarium. Well, we are at the Ward Beecher Planetarium, and it's been a while since anybody's been here. And Kurt Spivey is the engineer here for the planetarium, and your enthusiasm for the upgrades and the opening and the reopening is infectious.
Yes, well...
you absolutely love your job, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, the short description of my job is I get to run my mouth and play with cool toys, so...
Yeah, and you have shown all the talents. Wait until you see the upgrades that have happened since the fire. It's been about over a year.
January of 2023 is when the fire happened, the very first day of classes.
But you were saying that actually that fire was almost a blessing, because you were able to fix so many things and upgrade them.
Yes, basically, it was a silver lining. This room was taken down to the studs, literally, and beyond, because they had to replace the outer ceiling too. But the things I'm really excited about for this room are the things you can't see. The electrical has been upgraded. Behind the dome now we have R30 spray foam insulation. Outside, in 1967, under the copper, they assumed that waterproofing was tar paper with nails through it.
Right. I mean,
so
think about
now,
that.
yes, now we have 2 layers of waterproofing out there. They rubberized all the gutters running off. They opened up all the drains that were backing up on the roof. So things like that that the people don't get to see. Oh, you will get to see the bright copper dome, especially if you come on a sunny day, though. That's something the people over at Jones Hall aren't too happy with us, because in the morning it hits them right in the window over there. But also our speakers got trashed in the fire as well. So we have 5 new Martin speakers up top and a powered subwoofer. So we have some serious theater quality sound in here.
And all these tweaks, I just don't understand. But of course, the star of the show is Kronos.
Kronos is our signature piece.
He's the man,
yes.
right?
That is an entirely separate system from our video system, but we actually like that because we can do live Star Talks, and if something happened to the video system, we could just do a Star Talk. If something happened to Kronos, we could do a Star Talk after a fashion with the video system too. So we like having the 2 independent systems, but the reason Kronos is there, it's what we call an optomechanical starball, because it has lights inside that project through lenses, so you can get bright stars that are accurate size. When you make stars brighter in video, you add pixels, and then the stars start getting big and round, and they don't look realistic. So we can give a much more realistic star field with this and make it look exactly like it would outside at night.
When people visit, what do you really think they're gonna be excited about? Because I know you are so excited about everything. I have
been, not being able to do Star Talks is like somebody cut off my leg and I've been limping around for a year and a half. Star Talks are like breathing to me, so I cannot wait to share this room with the public again and get people excited about science and astronomy and have a little fun too.
Dr. Durrell is the director of the planetarium, and are you thrilled with the outcome?
Oh, I'm completely thrilled with everything. I mean, it's been 21 long months now, and while we were still able to teach classes for a while after the fire, it's still not the same when you don't have all the equipment and everything. I mean, one of the things that's been very important is that when construction started earlier this year, the goal for everybody involved was we wanted to be ready to have the planetarium open for our YSU students at the beginning of the fall semester, which was the last week in August. And they did that. Okay, a lot of coordination, a lot of discussions between contractors, electricians, planetarium experts, the people here at YSU to get this to happen. And sure enough, day one of the semester, 9 a.m., my first group was in here, and we've been continuing ever since.
I hear that this is classroom 2001.
It is room 2001. Yep. The previous director, Warren Yudd, made sure when the things got renumbered that this room had to be 2001 because that's just how we operate here at the Ward Beecher Planetarium.
You know, I think since the eclipse,
Yeah.
there's been so much more, and then the Northern Lights.
The big Northern Lights that we had,
that
yes.
was amazing. And then they keep, and I just think people are looking now for more things in our area that they didn't realize before.
And that's sort of the idea. That's the sort of the idea behind the classes, the general public shows as well. Is, you know, the idea is we don't want this to be the final thing you see in astronomy. We, like I said, when we show the night sky with the Chronos, the main goal is we want you to go out some night without the cell phone, and go out and see the stars and constellations yourself, and to make it your own experience.
Yeah. And just get away from the light pollution.
Yes, so we hope this is not the last time people see of the night sky. We want to encourage them to get out. I mean, we have programs here to help people with telescopes. So if people are interested in telescopes, we can sort of give advice there, because, you know, if people want to get a telescope to further their interest in astronomy, we want to make sure they get something that's, you know, going to be useful and not, you know, just a thing to hang clothes on in the basement. We're into the realism. We want to show people up on with the full dome, the cool graphics and what we're learning about the universe every week, basically. But we also want people to say, oh wow, if I can go to a dark place, the sky looks like this.
Right.
And I hear from students who, after they take our classes, said, you know, they went over the summer, they went camping someplace where there aren't many lights, and they just come back and say, yeah, you were right, that was really amazing. That's what we like to hear. Right. And that's, you know, one of the things you hear when you go, okay, that worked. And that's one of the things we shoot for.
Ward Beecher made sure that this was always open to the public, free of charge.
When Ward Beecher gave the money to build this science hall and planetarium, he wanted to make sure it was a resource for the Mahoning Valley. So we always have been and always will be free and open to the public. However, donations are greatly appreciated.
Greatly appreciated.
Yes.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Every 11 minutes, somebody takes their own life in the United States.
It's our mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, our children and our friends.
It is important to speak up if you know or suspect someone is feeling suicidal.
If you think that life is better without you, or that you can't go on one more day, please give yourself more time, because life is better with you in it.
If you or someone you know needs help, call or text 988 today.
Golden String and Gavacamp wish you the happiest of holidays. We wish you peace, courage, faith, and strength. Giving is living.
Hi, I'm Robbie Fellman.
And I'm John Stanko from Boardman Subaru, where it's time for the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event.
Now through January 2nd, get a great vehicle and support a great cause.
With every new Subaru purchase, Subaru and Boardman Subaru are donating $325 to your choice of 6 amazing charities,
including our local Second Harvest Food Bank and Akron Children's Hospital,
with an additional donation for every routine service visit.
So come and share the love, only at Boardman Subaru,
just south of Route 224 on South Avenue.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
Shop CMAX Northside Appliance in Struthers, the local appliance store that beats big box prices every day.
3 generations serving Youngstown, Ohio, soon to be our 4th.
Well, today is a Casey Malone Show exclusive. I have got 2 people that have never appeared on my show. My brother-in-law Jim and my sister Christine, younger sister. And I've also got my favorite niece, Annabelle. She has not been in this show for what? At least 10 years.
Your favorite and only niece.
My favorite, well, okay, but you're still my favorite. And then she's on my show every Halloween when we make the witch figures when you were, oh my gosh, what, 5 or 6 years old? So adorable. And now she is back, and look at her, little Betty Coed. Freshman at Vassar. You excited, Christine?
I am excited.
So,
and I'm the only one in the family who gets mistaken for Casey Malone, other than
right.
Mom's voice. Mom's
Yes.
voice also gets mistaken. But
I know, but I remember she was auditing, what, a school in Trumbull County?
I was auditing, yeah.
She goes into the
I
bathroom.
spilled coffee down my shirt, and when I went into the bathroom to get it off, there were 2 guys in the hallway whispering, Casey Malone's in the bathroom, and I'm not leaving till she comes out.
And Chrissy was like, oh no.
I stuck my head out and I said, I'm not Casey Malone. I'm a cheap imitation.
And James, I am thrilled to have you here.
Casey, I've been waiting 30 years for breakfast.
30 years. 30 years, that's how long Jim has been in our life. Can you believe that?
No.
I was only 5 years old when he married my sister. I was a little kid. So we are gonna get cooking. Annabelle, get ready.
All right, let's do this.
What I like to do is 2 eggs per person.
Okay.
So I figure we're gonna have probably more people come stumbling in. So I have 10 eggs out.
Gotcha.
And are you good at cracking eggs? Let's see.
No.
You crack one and I'll crack one. Who does it better? Okay. 1. See, you can crack an egg.
It's about a 50-50.
Throw them in the sink. Ooh, runny egg. Ooh, you don't like that stuff, do you?
No, I don't.
All right, so there we go. We got the eggs.
Okay.
Now, what I'm gonna do, I like what I think lightens up eggs very lightly. Just a splash of water, okay?
Okay.
I don't do milk. I think it lightens it. And I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. That way I don't have to add the salt when it's on the stove.
Gotcha.
And I think it melts quicker. You know, it like blends in a little better. So why don't you get whisking on that? You know, give it a good whisk. Okay. I boiled these potatoes last night and then sliced them. I don't like to peel potatoes. So I have these, and then I like cubanelle, sweet cubanelle, and then just some regular onions. So I'm gonna saute these. We'll go to the stove. We'll start with the potatoes because those are gonna take a little longer, and then we'll get cooking with the eggs. Now this is medium heat.
Gotcha.
Okay, and I'm gonna use olive oil. You could probably use butter, or you could use like canola or something, but I think olive oil is good for this because we're not going with a real high heat.
Yeah.
So this is getting nice and shimmery. I think it's gonna be ready to go. So let's put in the onion and the peppers. And we're gonna add those and get them nice and softened. Okay. Now, we are just gonna let this start cooking, and you're gonna hear the sizzle, and then, you know, you don't want it to burn. You just want it to get softened and translucent. These are really cooking nicely. Now, some people really like a burnt brown onion, but I don't. I like them a little softer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think just a couple more minutes, and we'll be ready to add the potatoes.
Gotcha.
So now we are ready for these potatoes. So we're just gonna, we want a little bit of browning on this. So we're just gonna keep watching these, okay? Kind of spread them out so they're even on the pan. And let's let them cook to get just a little crispy brown on the edges. And we'll just let it go. This is all over medium heat. See how they kind of stuck to the bottom of the pan a little bit? That's good, because it got a little bit of a crispness to them.
Got it.
That's how I like them. So now what I'm gonna do is take these off. I have this on a simmer. We are gonna put this on a low, and we are gonna get ready to make the scrambled eggs.
Got it.
The secret to really good scrambled eggs is low and slow.
Got it.
So what we're doing right now, we got about, this is quite a bit of butter, but we have 10 eggs. So what I'm gonna do is you just wanna melt it really good before you add the eggs. You don't really wanna hear a big sizzle, because that means your pan's too high. And what we're gonna do is just watch and let them get set up. And then you just kind of keep pushing them to cook. But right now we gotta watch the edges, and you're gonna wanna see that the edges are getting just a little cooked.
Okay.
And then we start moving them around. We're just gonna start pulling it in, see?
Okay.
Ever so gracefully. And see, they're just starting to set up a little bit, and then we'll get the next outer layer to start firming up. And then you'll stir the next one. Okay, I think, see, it's getting set up. Let's take it in. Good, see?
Oh, hey,
And then the
okay.
other stuff starts running, so then those edges will get cooked. Pull those in. You're getting the hang of this.
Look at me go.
Wow. Well, it's another Casey Malone Show exclusive. Another family member who has never appeared on my show. My sister Denise.
Hello.
Mother of Annabelle, wife of James. I am so thrilled that you're finally here. This has been a Christmas miracle. We're all together. So you know what we're doing? We're gonna have some mimosas. So there you go. Time to celebrate, Annabelle. And there we go. Christine is grapefruit juice.
I'm doing the pink grapefruit.
All right. Nisi, Annabelle, you just get a little sparkle. That's all you get.
Yeah, thank you.
And Nisi and myself. I like a lot more bubbles. Okay. A toast.
Merry
I'm
Christmas.
so
Merry
thrilled.
Christmas. To Vassar breakfast tacos? Is that
Right,
what we're
Vassar
calling
breakfast tacos. All right, now we gotta eat. For my flour tortillas, I dampen each one, wrap it in a paper towel or a dish towel, 30 to 40 seconds in the microwave. And they're really nice, soft, and pliable. So let's pass these around. That is delicious.
I may have over salsa, but it's very good.
All right, so thank you. Go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. The recipe for the Vassar breakfast tacos and the O'Brien's potatoes will be there. And cheers, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Rob, I really love the holidays at Kamara's.
Yeah?
All the lights,
The shopping,
families coming together,
finding deals,
giving to others,
discounts,
baking cookies,
specials,
love, joy, cheer,
sales.
family just always being around.
Aww.
Just there, saying things.
And presents.
Get real, get Kamara.
Experience the joy and magic of the holiday season at Arms Family Museum for Memories of Christmas Past, a Mahoning Valley tradition.
Locally owned, Hurricane Health and Wellness will help you weather the storm of your weight loss struggles. Safe and discreet, our experienced telemed team will prescribe the proper weight loss medication. Powerful weight loss solutions. Hurricane Health and Wellness. Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank. And that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
Golden String and Gavacamp wish you the happiest of holidays. We wish you peace, courage, faith, and strength. Giving is living.
Joseph Guerrieri is the master tailor and owner of Private Stash Atelier, and it's right here in downtown Youngstown on Federal Street. And we're up here in the studio, and this is where custom suits, bespoke suits, shoes, shirts, everything can be made custom for you.
Absolutely.
What made you get into tailoring? Have you always had an interest in fashion and things like that?
I've always had an interest in creating things. Fashion I just kind of fell into while I was out in LA, and it's just stuck ever since.
And are you self-taught in the tailoring and, design?
I am. When I first started out there, I took some doodles in a notebook, found a pattern maker, and then they just slowly introduced me to the whole process from there. So,
what was your very first suit?
Very first suit, I'd say probably First Communion. Something
Right.
like that. It's all white, just doesn't really fit you.
Were you all about it? Or no, you were just like, this is dumb?
I never really appreciated dressing up when I was younger. It's something I took as I got older. You start putting yourself together and you start looking better, feeling better. Usually it's a little bit of an education lesson when guys come in here. The first thing we tell them is if they have something at home, bring it in. That way we can clean it up, make it feel just like a custom suit. And that way they can allocate their money towards something else, a pair of shoes or some more dress shirts, things that'll elevate their wardrobe a little bit more than just wasting money on an expensive suit that they might wear a few times rather than try to build pieces that they can wear throughout the year.
What are your customers like though? Because obviously if someone's coming in and taking the care to really look at the fabric and the cut.
Yeah, so we have a spectrum of clients, and ranging from young professionals that are just getting into the workplace to guys that have already been in there that are just want to elevate their wardrobe from, a suit supply or like a men's warehouse.
You have like 3 levels what you can do, right? You can do the alterations on a current suit. And then there is the custom.
So we have our made-to-measure division as well as our bespoke division. So our made-to-measure division, production for that's anywhere between 4 and 7 weeks, where a bespoke suit would take anywhere from 7 to 12 weeks. And just depends on the complexity. Price is also a major factor. Our bespoke suits start around $3,500, and our made-to-measure suits start at $898.
The bespoke, how many measurements? Now, I've not even heard that term before.
We take about 30 core measurements, and then from there it can vary, and sloping the sleeves, shoulders, all that type of stuff. And then with our made-to-measure, you're taking about a dozen and up, a little over a dozen.
And you already have the patterns on them?
Yeah, so the made-to-measure suits, we have pattern made, so we'll take your core measurements, your chest, waist, pant waist, and coat waist. Then we'll throw you into one of our fitter blocks that closest correspond to those measurements, and then from there I can whittle it down, open it up, do what we need to do to get it fitting correctly. And like I said, the made-to-measure process cuts anywhere from 4 to 5 fittings from a bespoke piece, depending on complexity, of course.
But once they get the bespoke, you already have their pattern then.
Yeah, so the bespoke pattern is a pattern strictly cut to that individual. And then again, as it comes in, we tweak the pattern a little bit. And then once it's done, same thing with their made to measure, it'll be ready to go for their next piece. You gain or lose weight. It takes about 15 pounds to really alter a piece.
I was just gonna ask that. So losing or gaining 15 is that sweet spot?
Yes and no. Everybody loses weight differently. Usually when you lose weight, you're losing it from bottom to top. Waist is usually the area it's more stubborn area. So when we see guys changing in their stuff, shirts, we see their necks are a lot more looser, Chest, they start losing a little more in the chest before they do the waist.
You can really fix
so
a lot of physical issues, can't you, on a really good suit?
Yes, absolutely. So we do their core measurements as well as measurements off the pieces. We do a posture analysis. We're asking them, we're getting to know them for the first 15 minutes they're in here, likes, dislikes, where they vacation, do they have any injuries, things that will inhibit mobility from previous surgeries, things like that. And then once we can build a little profile together with all that information, we can cut the piece to their desired proportion and how they want it to look.
What is the biggest faux pas you see when a guy has a suit?
So what we notice here, we get a lot of guys coming in late. They need to get a suit, but it's next week, and it doesn't fit our time requirements. So they'll get a suit off the rack and bring it in. And a lot of the issues we see is they'll buy suits that are 2-3 sizes too big for them, and it's almost like a zoot suit. So we have to, it's the difference between doing a waist measurement and fixing that to now you're fixing the shoulders, you're fixing the chest, you're fixing the waist, you're fixing the hips. So it turns into you're literally recutting the whole piece. So what we try to tell clients is, fit for your chest. Everything else we can kind of clean up a little bit better than having something that just sloppily hangs on you.
Double-breasted.
I love double-breasted. It's slowly making a comeback. We've done a few here in Youngstown. It's a little more popular out in LA and New York with my Chicago clients.
You don't just do suits, because you also do custom shirts and shoes.
Yes, we just started doing shoes.
Yeah, now show this shoe, because this is gorgeous. And this is your own personal pair, is that
Yeah,
not?
this is a pair that we just got made for myself. I chose to do a green bottom. It's a Goodyear welt. It's pretty much the best welt you can get for a shoe. We make all of our shoes in Spain. And pretty much this shoe is a whole cut black calf leather. This would be comparable, if you were going to compare it to another brand, this would be comparable to a Ferragamo shoe.
So how does the process work? I come in, I need a suit, or my husband needs a suit. And let's say we don't do bespoke. We go with a custom.
Made it better, yeah.
How many choices of fabric and do I get? Walk me through that process.
Okay, so a client comes in, typically we'll see what their budget is, because then we could really plan around. You know, with our $8.98 price, you're gonna get about 100 fabrics to pick from. So you're about 3-4 books, and then depending on what fabric, material, color, weave you're looking for, we just kind of go through and we can pull the books that you need. So our $8.98 price is the starting point, and then increments of 100 to 200 will go up from there. I mean, we do suits up to 15,000.
There's so many good tips, you know?
Absolutely.
Look at you, Grasshopper. You're just, you know, you're telling everyone about fine tailoring. I think it's great. But you do have to make an appointment. This is not just a walk.
No. We keep it to appointment only now.
Because, I mean, it's a personal stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you are measuring them, and then they're really looking for your
Oh, yeah,
items.
100%. And it's cool, too, because we got a lot of guys that have been introduced to us, and they have younger kids, so then they'll bring their sons in, and now it's a father-son duo that are in here. And then if we're lucky enough, we get father-son and then grandfather that comes in. So we're starting to build a little bit of lineage with our clients out, which is awesome.
And what about your logo, the pipe and the saber? What is that is interesting, and it's with all your pieces?
Yes, so anytime you buy a custom jacket from us, whether it's just a jacket by itself or a full suit, we always pin you in. It's like a little pinning ceremony. It's our little fraternity that we have.
And what does that represent?
So we want all our clients to strive for a balanced lifestyle in here. So we have our war and peace. So you have your cavalry saber, and then you have your peace pipe. It's not our version, but it's our image of balance.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.